Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the After Dark stream. I am alone because I just get this first. Oh, I Patricked myself. Oh no, I did. I never do that. Awesome. I pulled a Patrick. Outstanding. And that, by the way, what that means is I failed to close the actual YouTube link on the other monitor. So, hi, Paul. How are you? Yes, Paul, you get a vote. As somebody who I have been trying to get on the show now for, as far as I can tell, months. We might even be into years at this point. I don't know. I feel like you are almost an unofficial member of the show, Paul. So yes, you get a vote on stuff. Hello, Brandon.
Oh, you're live. I was like, how are you talking to Paul?
I went live before everybody even got there. I'm an overachiever. I hit the live button immediately because
Are we live?
You are a an overachiever. Whatever.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I'm just gonna mumble all over myself.
Words.
Words are hard.
Words are hard. Oh boy.
Alrighty.
So this is After Dark.
What
Daryl, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
After Dark is exactly like the regular show, except we don't care about any of the rules and we don't have a format. We just kind of chat.
I love it. I love it. So I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, there you go. So Patrick has Patrick.
Yes.
Things besides the Pikachu hat.
Yes. I just changed hats. That's all.
All right, good. For those of you keeping score at home, that's because Patrick has been known to disrobe during the After Dark.
Once. Wow.
Yeah.
It was very warm. It was very warm.
It was very warm. I was overheated.
It was very warm and it got hotter.
Yeah,
it did.
It did.
Real
After Dark.
Oh boy. So I am just now.
There it is.
I've been just now coming off of this stupid travel schedule, where basically I have been on the road more than I have not, and all for work, and none of that work being gaming. So I have done stunningly little gaming, but I had a Gloomhaven day yesterday again.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I know. I have a group that actually wants to play Gloomhaven regularly, which is exciting beyond belief because I've owned the game for almost 2 years and have just now gotten to the point where I can actually play it and experience new content without teaching the same scenario over and over and over again, which is awful.
Mm-hmm.
So, but man, oh man, that game, I like, now that I'm actually getting into some story, is really good. Like, I think
There's a reason it did so well.
Yeah, okay, but you know what? That reason could have been, look how amazing this box is, and look at all the stuff and the sealed things and the stuff and the. And I will be 100% honest with you. I think most of that works against it.
Right.
Like, I think the sheer size of that box and all the bullshit that comes in it, and I'll just After Dark, so I can say that now.
Yeah, you can say whatever you want.
I can. I do what I want. But all of that stuff, I think, works against it. I think that if this game system, like if they had just given you a book of maps and said, here, draw this on a piece of, you know what I mean? Like the wet erase battle mats that D&D players have been using for 30 years, I think that this would have been an easier game to sell. But I don't know. I really like it. Has everybody here at least played it?
Yeah. I played it once. Yeah.
Played once. Brandon?
Like 2.5 times, and then I burned it.
You burned it?
No, I didn't. I traded it away for
I was just going to say,
Island.
You would definitely trade it away. No.
Yeah.
What did you trade it for?
Dinosaur Island.
I'd do that trade.
What the heck did you just type?
What's that?
I'm sorry, I'm reading what you just typed.
Oh, I was talking to chat. Sorry.
Okay.
None of those didn't even look like words.
Yes.
Wait, so you would trade away. Hold on. Does everybody here like Dinosaur Island better than Gloomhaven? Is that where you're heading with this?
It's more playable.
I do.
I could not disagree more.
I think there's a lot of stuff in Gloomhaven.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's about where I end.
Well, we just didn't get it. We lost, and then you got to play the same thing over again.
Yeah. Well, there's no rule that says you have to.
But I don't know.
I found it very intimidating for other players. Like I was like, you know what? If I could join in someone else's kind of campaign of doing it, I would. But I don't want to have to convince enough people.
Yeah.
To do this.
I'm a textbook example of that, right? Like I've owned the game for almost 2 years, and just now have gotten a group that wants to play it regularly.
Right.
And so, I mean, I definitely get that. Having said that, I think that, so here's, for me, it scratches the role-playing game itch without the role-playing game rules. Like the rules are easier than any role-playing game that exists.
Right.
Sort of ish. I don't know. That's its own kind of ball of worms. But I think I like it. It just, there's so much to like, and part of it is that I'm a fanboy for legacy games, right? Like I just, in general, if it has legacy on the box, I'm in.
Right.
Because I think that is its own sort of interesting art form.
Yeah, I am definitely a big fan of legacy or some type of ongoing kind of unlocking things, opening things. I love that.
Right. Well, and I think because it provides a different way to tell a story.
Yeah.
Right. Like it creates surprises, which very few board games can do, especially nowadays. I feel like I mean, and BGG is its own problem entirely, but you go onto BGG and games have not physically been in the hands of anybody yet. And yet people have picked through the rule book and have decided that this mechanic is broken and this faction is overpowered.
Yeah.
Like you have not played the game yet.
Yeah.
They've been rated and you haven't played the game yet.
Yeah, that's always crazy to me, is the amount of ratings for games that aren't out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and part of that is just system manipulation, right? Like it's just people trying to boost ratings or kill ratings of games that they either love, want to love or want to hate. But I guess what my point is that we have created a hobby where surprises are not only not common, but not welcome. Nobody wants surprises anymore. It feels like.
Yeah.
Does that feel accurate? Like people were grousing during the campaign for Eclipse 2nd edition because the rulebook hadn't been published before the Kickstarter went live. To my response was, so you know what Eclipse is? Like it's not like this is going to be a total reinvention of the game. I don't get it. I don't know. Help me understand this, Brandon. I'm going to come to you with this first.
What do you want?
Do you care if a rulebook's published before a game goes up? Like, does the rule book need to be out there?
9 times out of 10, I won't back it if I can't read a rule book.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
why?
Because I like to. I can watch gameplay and I can do all these things, and read the reviews if I want to. But I think I get a better feel for me if I sit there and I physically read the rule book. Now, I've been known to completely misread something and think I'm going to hate it from the rule book and then end up loving it. But 9 times out of 10, give me a rule book, or I probably don't back it.
Yeah, I think it's a recipe that everyone has to follow now. It's definitely like kind of a mandatory step.
Yeah, it kind of shows also where you are in the process, right? Like I said, I don't care about fast turnover. I with Kickstarter, we've got so many things being thrown at us. It doesn't matter to me if I wait 6 months. But if I see a rule book there and I know it's being worked on and I can kind of look and see how it's being handled, I can get a better grips on maybe, how everything else is going to go, right?
Mm-hmm. Right?
If the rule book is well put together and if I can grok that rule book without having anything in front of me and know what I'm going to play, it says something, I think.
I'm a video guy. I think for me, I have to see like a little bit of gameplay in a video. If I don't need everything. I don't need like the whole gameplay, but I want to see some of it in motion, and then I can personally get a feel for if I'm going to like that game.
Yeah. I do like seeing moving pieces and things. The people kind of can oversell you on things. You see a group having fun with something, it's automatically going to be more fun, or you think it's going to be more fun.
All right, Patrick, I want you to weigh in on this before I do.
What's the question? So about rule books?
What do you want?
Does the rule book
I
need
don't
to
read
be up?
rule books. I want to know that it exists. I don't want to live in a void. I like to know there's a complete thing there. But I don't think I've ever completely read a rule book on a Kickstarter. I'm pretty gut instinct sort of guy. I've been burned, but I'm also pretty lazy.
I'm on Team Patrick here. I don't, well, except for I'm not. I don't care about the rulebook at all. Like, I want to know that there is a good game in there.
Yeah.
And then the rulebook itself can and should go through multiple rewrites between when a Kickstarter goes live and when a box is in my hands.
Yeah.
And the rulebook that they're going to put up on whatever page when the game is still seeking funding to find out whether this game can be afforded to be developed to the point where it comes to me. Like, the way that I look at it, for when it comes to Kickstarter, unless it's one of those companies that's basically using it as a glorified pre-order system, and there are a lot of companies that are doing that. Despite any of those, not counting those, sorry, I got distracted there for a second. I don't expect the rulebook to be done when the Kickstarter goes live. I expect the rules to be done, meaning that I expect that the game has a consistent flow of play and the designer and the developers know what they want the game to do. But I don't expect a rulebook to be finished because I expect that I am paying for the development process to make this game come to life.
Yeah. I don't expect to look at a rule book. I mean, I'll read Word document rule books and things like that, with like hand-drawn pictures on it. That's fine. Just give me something I can look at and I can read and go with.
Yeah, it is like, for me, expectation personally, if I'm kickstarting something, just show me that you've like done the process of thinking through the rules. I don't need it to be polished. I'm with you, Brandon. If it was even a Word doc, I can live with that. But I at the end of the day, it's not going to change my decision point, but it does really feel like everyone expects kind of every hoop to be done before a game. Like, all the art's done, the rules are done, and it's like, whoa, like,
slow down there a little bit here, folks.
Yeah.
This is this is kind of revealing under the hood, and not everything's pretty yet. So
maybe that's part of it for me too, is that I think that there is an overemphasis on the customer is always right now in the Kickstarter realm.
Sure.
And the vocal minority basically bitching and moaning in order to get things that they want and force publishers' hands. And I wonder if this is into self-fulfilling cycle. And I'm inadvertently segueing into something else here that I wanted to bitch about anyway. But this is if I know that the bones of a game are good, if I can look at a game and I can be like, okay, I get the general gist of what they're doing. It's probably not done, but that's why they're seeking funding, to find out whether it's worth pursuing or not, which is how I look at it, right? Like, if a game isn't worth pursuing, it won't get the money, and therefore it won't get pursued, right? Like, and that's, so I feel like this is sort of, to me, Kickstarter is the litmus test of, is this game worth publishing? And if the crowd speaks, then so be it. And I don't expect very much to be done before then. As a matter of fact, the only things that I really want are gameplay. Right? I don't care about art. I definitely don't care about flashy videos on the landing page for the Kickstarter. That just, maybe I am the curmudgeon everybody says I am. But like, when I see a super flashy video with like a bunch of CG and fun transitions between all this and super dramatic voiceover and big swelling music or whatever, I'm like, really? Okay. And then it sort of turns me off. Like, I would rather watch 3 minutes of a designer talking about how much he believes in his game than I would some put together in a world kind of trailer, Like, that's me, but I don't know.
I'd rather watch a designer talk about their game than a paid preview.
Yeah.
That's true. I agree with that. Although, the paid preview thing is its own monster entirely, right? Like,
and I shouldn't say anything like that, because I know they're a necessary thing in this kind of atmosphere where you're trying to, compete with how many games every damn week?
2,100 apparently, and a weekend near you.
Gotta use who's out there that can get your stuff out to the most eyeballs. And
it is wild trying to get attention in a very noisy atmosphere.
Oh yeah, I definitely know why it's done.
Well,
So-
and then it becomes, whose voices do you feel like you can trust, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't like. I don't. I don't play the political game well. I don't particularly like Rahdo's videos. I don't like his style, but I trust him. I don't think that Rahdo has the capacity in one of those videos to lie to you, because
Right.
I think he's too spur of the moment all the time. It just feels like he is just stream of consciousness all the time while he's talking about everything. So even though I can't watch his videos for more than about 10 minutes without feeling like I need a stiff drink and a nap when I'm done, I trust his opinion
Yep.
on games. And he definitely comes back at the end of them and says, yeah, this was not for us, or whatever. And I feel like he's honest about stuff. I can't even point to a specific person that I feel like is not honest about games, but I know that there are some out there where I have watched a video and gone, ooh, wait, what? No. And like one of the things that when people have asked me why on the Cubist we chose to do a live stream instead of doing edited whatever, the first easy honest answer is because I got sick of editing audio. And I'm too much of a perfectionist, and it drove me crazy. I was spending way too much time. But the second thing is that I realized that there is a certain level of kind of forced integrity in this format, because I don't have time to figure out what I'm going to say, right? Like I just have to say things. You're going to get me.
Yeah.
Sorry, half the time it's good, half the time it's crap, but whatever. And then at least it's always honest. And I think that there's something to be said for that raw stream of consciousness thinking, which is, and I think you don't get that with a lot of the paid preview type content sometimes, because, video quality matters. There are people that won't watch this show because it's, raw. Okay, that's fine. It is what it is. I prefer it this way, but I don't know. All right, so chat room. Hi, chat room. I have not been ignoring you, I promise. Game needs to be 95% done and not just a bunch of shiny bits. That's Paul. I think 95 is too high for me. I think it needs to be 80% done. Like I want it to be mostly there and have still some development to go. That would be the number I would come to. But I don't know, maybe that's just me. But Paul, you look at things from a development standpoint, right? Like you develop for your job, so right, the game has to. You're like you wouldn't think about putting something out there till it was almost done because you're seeing it from that point of view. I wonder if that influences it.
Yeah, I get too, like the tension of like what I'd be open to versus what I think you have to put out there. I think are different. I think like you mentioning that, you understand that a game's getting developed and worked on. That's not the average person coming into seeing a thing where they have to spend money. I mean, most people, they're just like, I want to see what I'm buying and I want it to be as done as possible.
Yep.
And it's tough to communicate that Kickstarter's intention is to bring people into the creative process and to be part of this game being even better than it ever could be, because of everyone chipping in. But instead, I think people almost like miss out because they say like, I just want everything to be done. Show me what it is, and I'll give you my money. And I think it's actually a miss because you could even influence the direction of the game if the community is constructive and participating and engaged. I would think it would be amazing that there's different little windows of people kind of helping the game. Even for us so far, we've only been up for like a week or so, and we even have had people comment with suggestions on the rulebook, for instance. And one thing that was kind of fun is like the rulebook we uploaded, by the time they had commented, it had already gone through 2 more passes by an editor. That it was kind of fun to say like, well, actually, most of the things you commented on have been caught, but there was 1 or 2 things there that wasn't caught yet. Awesome. Thanks for taking the time to look. Thanks for giving us that kind of feedback. That person likes doing that kind of stuff. It makes the game better for everyone. So if that was totally done, that window of participation wouldn't have even been there. So I think games can be really like so much better and personal. Like you can be involved, you can connect with the people that are trying to make the games. But
Okay,
you know.
so we've come at this topic from like 5 different directions over the last, let's say, year on this show. Okay, we really have. And one of the things that we have said over and over, and I have said specifically, is we bitched about rule books on the show a lot. We have complained bitterly about how bad rule books are. And as a matter of fact, when the Spiel nominees were announced, we made a point of talking about the letter that one of the Spiel Award judges wrote about how, look, these rule books are terrible. We can't endorse a game that has a bad rule book, even if the game is great.
Right.
This ties into this in the fact that I would, and I have also said on the show that I would rather pay an extra $10 per game to have an awesome rule book that is just done straight out the gate. This is what Kickstarter is supposed to be, is us backing in order to help a game get to its final form, not us paying money for a pre-order of a game already in its final form.
Yeah.
It feels like one of those things that I would like to just shout at the board gaming community at large is pay attention. What Kickstarter is, not what you think it should be. What it is crowdfunding the process, not paying for the printing, right? Like it's not the same thing. Now, some companies are using it for that second one, but that is not the intended purpose of the platform.
Right.
It has always been helping bring a creative project to life, not helping pay for a vanity label to print a thing.
Yeah.
Right. So, that makes me, that is like a rage point for me, because it's like, come on, people, you can't expect this thing to be perfect when it's on Kickstarter. If it was perfect, it wouldn't be on Kickstarter. It would be through normal publication channels.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah.
But Kickstarter has changed, unfortunately.
Well, no, the way we've used it has changed.
Right.
The platform itself is trying theoretically to hold on to its mission statement. We're just, the board gaming industry is not using it in the way that it is intended.
Right.
My humble opinion. Like, I mean, nobody expects when you kickstart a movie, nobody expects that the movie's already done and they're just waiting to pay for it. You know, like nobody expects that. Nobody expects a book to have been already written. That's insane to me. Like, and to me, all right. See, I'm so angry I can't even talk. Brandon, change the subject into something less angry.
I have no idea.
Well, that's not exactly what I meant, but that'll work.
Sorry.
All right, there you go. You get Bill ranting for a minute. No, it's not. Okay, Ben, it's more about making one prototype, and not a whole line of copies or something. No, but part of the cost of making a game is making that rules. Like, part of the cost should be going into editing and development, and designers have to get paid, editors have to get paid, developers have to get paid. You can't, that stuff doesn't just magically happen on people's free time, right? If you want people to apply real effort to things, you have to make it so that way they can, and they can't apply effort if they're not paying their bills.
I think too, one of the things that unfortunately people forget is,
Shut up, Chad. Sorry.
is that all this stuff is happening even with published games. Like all the work of deving over and over, and rule progression and all that stuff is kind of the ugly behind the scenes process that we all feel, like, oh, why is this game not coming out? Or, oh, I want this now. And yet it takes time. Like, all these things are a process, and a lot of companies feel that pressure, and to the point where they have to, deliver a game at a certain show or by a certain date. And then some games, we feel them being underdeveloped. We feel that they've been rushed, and that just sucks for everyone, because that's just like more games that are they're good, or instead of being really polished and finished.
Yeah, I think that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Like, we demand that games be out, and why hasn't this game happened yet, and why isn't this game out, when there are very possibly non-nefarious reasons why it's not out. It still has more work to be done. So,
Yeah.
by the way, Ben, I have seen the second one. I saw it on the flight home on Friday. So to heck with you. And I thought it was excellent. Patrick is wrong. It was wonderful. So there. It was. I flew Delta, and Delta gives you free movies.
Yeah,
Nice.
Delta's
And Wi-Fi and plugs and everything.
Delta's wonderful.
I'm
just
flying them not next week, but the week after that.
Please sponsor the show. But no. But yeah, no.
American sucks, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, there you go. There you
There's
go.
a reason those flights can be cheap sometimes.
Yeah. And you get what you pay for, man. You get what you pay for, board gaming people.
Yeah.
And by the way, to heck with you and your monologuing jokes. That was less of a monologue and more of a rant. And I would make a crappy supervillain. I'm just saying. I'm not mean. I'm not mean enough. I got a copy of Rococo. Has everybody here played that?
Oh, I love that
I need to
game.
play that. No, never played it.
I
keep
just got I got a copy of it for $30
Wow.
with the promo. I know, right? I was very excited.
Wow. Yeah, it's a phenomenal game, and it's funny. I don't know if
That's
I
like
own
the
it,
fancy
so-
dressed up version, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can we kick Patrick out of the? How do we do that?
I can go to bed.
No, don't go to bed. Damn it!
Rumors are you might see Rococo pop up again in the near future.
Mm.
Is it getting reprinted? Maybe that's why I got it.
Probably
For
why.
$6.
Well, it's not next. It's a ways down, but it's coming.
It's
Maybe
with
that's-
Eggers deal?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. So it's
Maybe
part of the whole.
They're working. I think.
That's usually when you can
they've got-
get something cheap is when it's being reprinted.
Yeah, they've got. They've
is this-
got one more now that they're going to announce. I think in between, but
Is this public knowledge?
No.
All right.
we're after that.
That's-
Nobody's watching.
That's not it. Then it's not. I didn't get it for cheap.
No. That's not why. I'm just saying if you don't own it, don't go out spending
Don't-
the 80 that I sold.
Don't
my
drop
copy.
$100 on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Yes.
I still haven't played my copy.
Good games come back.
All right, but not always better. There was just some tweets
Yikes.
about Finca.
Oh, I like Finca a lot.
I know. Some people were grumbling about that.
I
I haven't
like-
seen anything about the Kickstarter. How has it turned out or
Just
anything?
bigger for some reason. That was the only complaint. Was just that for some reason it was like bigger. A lot
Well,
bigger, like-
Belfort has a re-release too. That's
Yeah,
I saw that.
Speaking of the
Mhm.
bamboozles, I had a couple people asking me my opinion on it because Belport has a proud place on my shelf, and they were looking at it, wondering if they should back it. And I said, yes,
Yeah.
you should back
Yeah,
it.
I've
It's
not played
wonderful.
that in 100 years though.
Well, neither have I.
100 years. It's that bold.
The
Yeah.
only issue that I have with Belport is that I think that it can be the tiniest bit too long.
Yeah.
It
Mm.
sometimes feels like it overstays its welcome just a little bit.
It's true. It definitely is the type of game that you have to get everyone committed to play kind of fast.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because
Like,
it can drag real hard.
It can drag, and so like for myself, I love the game, but I've been spoiled because I used to play test it all the time with Sen.
You play with Sen.
So we would play literally. We could play whole games in like 20 or 30 minutes.
Yikes.
But
Holy
it was
crap.
just like do something, do something, do something, do something. But we were just testing, especially when they did their expansion. Just like, okay, is this out of whack? And we would just play as fast as we could.
Mhm,
It was great. But I agree. When you play like a 5-player,
mhm.
you know, some noobs or someone who just really takes their time, double thinking everything. Whew, yeah, that game can run long.
It's and it's a really good game. And I cannot stress this enough. If you can get a copy of it, you should back the Kickstarter. As I'll just say this right now. If you like your Euro games, back this, because I'm not going to back it because I already own the first edition and I have a hard enough time getting it to the table now, but it's real good. And if you don't own it and you've always wanted to, this is a great time to get in on it because I feel like they mentioned that they've streamlined the rules a little bit here and there. And there's more content in there. There's good stuff. I didn't like. You guys are all singing the praises of two games I really didn't like. I didn't like Finca and I didn't like Coliseum. So like, I know. I need to play Finca again because I think I played Finca at a different part in my gaming career where I didn't like mean games, and Finca can be really mean.
Yeah, that is actually my biggest problem with Finca is that I would not play that with people that'll get offended.
Yeah.
I need to play with like kind of competitive gamers in that like everyone knows like
Come to us.
right?
Yeah.
You know, like it's like friends where it's like you're gonna laugh at like being picked on.
Yeah.
No, the table will turn on the next person who's in the lead.
Yeah, we just played Taj Mahal this afternoon for the first time. That is such a mean little game.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. There's another one I don't like. I'm a Care Bear, dude. I am. I'm a total Care Bear when it comes to board games. I don't mind doing passive aggressive stuff to screw other people. Like I'll take your spot in a worker placement game all day long.
Sure.
You know, but I don't
always say, "Oh, I was just going there for myself."
Yeah, I needed to go there, right? Right? Yeah, you have that passive aggressive. You can hide behind whatever. I'm just acting in my own best interest. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that screw you over 6 ways from Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. So. Bill doesn't only like Eclipse. Shut the hell up, Chad. You know what? Chad is so mean to me all the time. I just told you I'm a Care Bear. Stop picking on me. So why y'all can Eurospace? Yes, it is. You know what? I was $200 well spent. Ben, what is your problem? What are you bitching about over there? I don't know why
he's glaring.
I don't know. I don't know what his problem is. But I need to play Pinka again because I need to see whether 2018 Bill feels the same way about it as because I played it like the year it came out. And I don't even remember when that was. It was a while ago.
Yeah, it's got to be like 10 years old now.
Yeah, and I did not love it. I just thought it was the mechanic about how if there aren't enough of one kind of fruit, then everybody loses everything. It was that one moment.
That's so fun.
Yeah. See, there you go.
That is the funnest and
I'm so sorry.
My friend Brandon the Troll, right here.
Brandon was like game where that happened. I can't remember what that was.
You what?
I was just playing another game where that did that. I can't remember what it was though. Something
Ben,
similar.
if you can't type in the chat room while you're glaring at me, then you can just shut it. And that's after you donated to my Extra Life campaign. Damn
I'm
it.
guessing something about you beating him in Eclipse. I'm guessing something.
Oh, I always beat him in Eclipse. I beat him. I'm kidding. I don't actually know if that's true or not. I usually don't win Eclipse. I usually come in second or third place when I'm playing. Yeah, I wanted you to answer, fool. What the hell are you typing in there for? By the way, you better be coming over to play Sentinels tomorrow. I blocked off the night for you, jerk. Anyway, I don't know. I need to play that one again. Taj Mahal, I don't feel like I need to play again. I played that one a bunch when it first came out, and it just has a couple things that. Oh, they're calling BS on the Care Bear thing? I'm totally a Care Bear. I don't pick on you. Whatever. Taj Mahal has those 4 cards, right? That like pass around the table, the 4 keeper cards, and those felt to me like a rich get richer mechanic. That one of those cards, and I don't remember which one. And this is all just hazy memories from years ago when I used to own it, was that a couple of those cards would stay with the person that won the conflict in which they used the card. Like they gave you an advantage in a thing that let you keep that card. So therefore you never really lost that advantage.
You win the cards by having the majority of a certain thing, and then you get 2 of the patrons, or like 2 of the princesses, or 2 of the things. Then you get the card, but the next person who gets that takes it from you.
Yeah.
And you don't get to score it immediately, if I don't remember right. Like there's one that gives you like 2 points every time. So like if it's not there when it's gone from your hand. You don't score it. So I didn't find those 2 horrible. It's just so hard. That's the game is just pulling out the game. You got to know when to get out of this. I never figured it out, and it was so irritating.
Did you play the new version?
Yeah, the new version.
That's cool.
Yep. That's the first time I'd played it. So.
Yeah, I haven't played the new version, but the art looks better.
It does. It's really nice.
I don't know. I've been involved in a number of conversations where I pointed out games that I did or didn't like, and the list of games that I don't like is not crazy long.
Phenomenal. No,
yeah, but there are a lot of games that everybody else but me really likes, and for some reason they just rub me the wrong way, and I need to go back and like have a Bill intervention day where I just sit down and I play all of them, and it'd be like
Bill play games he hates.
Yeah, make Bill play games he hates for one day and see it, like just feed me a whole bunch of really good scotch before I start and buy me donuts or something.
I mean, be careful what you ask for, because if the Essen titles don't turn out to, be something that we enjoy after a couple weeks, it's liable to be a Knizia-thon for 3 days.
I don't hate Knizia. So Knizia's got 2 of my all-time favorite games.
So we'll play some
What are those, Bill?
Huh?
What are those?
Amun Ray and Ra. I love both of those.
Those are both amazing games.
Yeah, those are two of my all-time faves. And there are a couple of other of his games that I like just fine. There are a couple that I could go the rest of my life without ever playing, but that doesn't.
Have you guys played the Amun-Re card game? I just bought it.
No,
I haven't. That was relatively recent, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, I just saw it and I was like, well, I love Amun-Re, so
yeah, I don't want to play card game and dice game versions of games I already like.
I hear you, but it's
Full
so
stop.
easy to take a card game with you to something versus the whole game.
It is. And Knizia does it so well. I mean, that whole Lost Cities.
I heard Raw the
Line-
dice game was
Oh, God.
terrible, though.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like it's universal he's good at that. I think that he has been good at that sometimes, but I think he misses just as often as he hits there, and I don't care. Yes,
Well,
I will play flippin' El Grande. All right, listen up. I don't
my
care.
Top games.
Here you go. Fine. It's terrible, but I'll El Grande the dice game. I would play that.
Cover your ears, Daryl.
I'm in. There you go.
El Grande, the dice game.
I'm
El
done.
Grande is definitely a top 10 game in my books.
Okay, I hate it. It's a long running almost joke at this point on this channel. This is why the chat room's giving me shit about it right now, because I really don't like. It's like 50 Shades of Poop with cubes everywhere. It's all it is.
Oh, it was literally my first game I designed, the Wall City, is my design of like appreciation to El Grande, but El Grande always takes a little long, so I was trying to make a game that I could play faster. That was the whole inspiration, really, or design pressure of my first game, was try to make a quick El Grande.
Okay, fair enough. I need to play it again. I will play. I've told Patrick that the next time he and I are at a convention together, I will play El Grande with him. Paul and Ben and everybody else, I don't care. You know what? Bring it to the Extra Life Marathon. If somebody wants to bring El Grande to the Extra Life Marathon, you want to sit down and chain me to a table for 2 hours, I will sit and play El Grande, and I will paste a big old. I will paste a big old smile across my face the entire time, even though it does all of the things I hate in board games all in one tiny little box. It'll be great. I'm ready. It'll be exciting. Ben, I like Roll for the Galaxy because I don't love Race for the Galaxy. That's why. What I specifically said was I don't want card and dice games versions of games I love. I think
that's a perfect one. What about Jump Drive? Have you played Jump Drive?
No, I have not.
Oh, I can't go back to Race.
Is that Race Light?
It's Race Light, and it just is so accessible.
I need to play it.
It's like
a bit
no
too
teach
fast,
time.
though. That's my problem.
Sure, it goes fast, but like the teach time is a joy instead of I hate teaching Race to new people.
Oh yeah.
Well, Race is the poster child for how to not make a game that people can learn. Right? Like that's the iconography. Like the iconography is great once you already know how to play, but teaching that game is the worst.
The worst.
Right? Yeah. No, that was. I feel like that game in and of itself was a running joke for a solid year about how hard it was to teach. Yeah, I would need to try Jump Drive.
Yeah.
And for the record, I liked Roll for the Galaxy, but I only liked it enough that I gave it to a friend of mine who liked it more.
Right.
So there you go. That's legit. It was a gift. Him and his sons really liked it, and so I gave it to them. I'm like, here, you guys clearly are going to enjoy it more than I will. Have a good time.
Yep.
Which I do all the time anyway. I don't know. Hey, speaking of Sentinels, which we weren't, but I mentioned it 15 minutes ago. King of the segue, y'all. I hate my box 20% less than I did when I got it.
Oh, good.
The collector's box that holds all the things.
Is it huge?
700% more to hate.
Yeah,
it is still even.
So, Daryl, it is 3 millimeters too wide to fit in a Kallax cube in one of the spaces.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh man, that would be a nightmare.
Yep. That's why I said it that way, because I saw the Kallax behind you and I'm like, yeah, see, you will feel my pain right out the gate. I almost took a rubber mallet and beat on the side of the box to get it flattened enough.
Take a sander and shave down the box.
You think I'm kidding, but I definitely gave it some side eye. Like, I bet you I could make this fucker fit. It's the only thing about it that I don't like. Is that now it has to sit on top. Oh, and it's about this much deeper than a Kallax. So it hangs off the edge of the top of the shelf that it is sitting on. It's wonderful. It just feels like it could have been designed better. I'm going to leave it at that.
I heard Derek Davis said that he sleeves his cards or something like that.
Yeah, and it doesn't all fit. I've heard a couple people say that sleeve cards don't all fit. I don't sleeve basically ever. The only game that I have that I sleeve is Terraforming Mars because I feel like there's so many cards that it doesn't matter anyway. You already can't stack the damn things. So
I don't sleeve except for I am now going to be a sleever of Keyforge.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I played it. I loved it. I will sleeve those.
Good night, Paul. I really want to play that. That has been bouncing in and out of my cart on Cool Stuff for a while.
Yeah.
Just because.
Speaking of cards, can I rant for a minute?
Please go. Yeah. Somebody else rant instead of me.
Monologue time.
So, here's my monologue. So, Matt Riddle, who's not feeling well right at the moment, sent me a message about his little bird game. Was it Peepin' Mats? And I said, "Hey, who's carrying that now?" Because what was it? The company that went under. Mayday went under.
And Lookout.
And he said, "Well, Lookout's, whatever." Mayfair. Sorry.
Oh my God, I'm bad.
Not have anymore. And sent me over to Miniature Market. And Tony on Rolling Dice and Taking Names was talking about how they have that thing where you can like put something in the cart and pay for it, and then you add some more things, and then eventually they'll ship it to you, right? Mm-hmm. So I threw Pippin Marts in there, and I'm like, well, I'm going to wait until I get up to $100 and ship it. So then I threw in Terraforming Mars expansion and a couple other things and some other things, and finally got up to $100. Well, it turns out two things were like pre-orders that still have not shipped yet. Mm-hmm. One was the new Arboretum or Arboretum, and I forget what the other thing was. Some dice game, some like $10 dice game that I threw in there, like
just to get up to $100.
Just to get $100. So I haven't gotten any of this shit.
Yep.
For like 6 months.
Yeah.
So all of these games are now at my FLGS, and I would have bought them because I'm not one where like I'll just buy the stuff if I can see it. I'm an instant gratification kind of guy. And so I'm sitting in the airport the other day, and I finally looked it up, and I sent him an email, and I finally emailed him back. I'm like, yeah, these two games are being held, holding up the whole order. So then I found two. Oh, I played a Dex game. Eric sent me a Dexcape game, and I played that at the hotel. And it was pretty cool. I found out there were two more of them, and I'm traveling a lot, and those are really good to play, like at the hotel at night when you're by yourself.
Sure.
And they fit in my briefcase, So I called him up and I said, "Here, put these two Dexcape games on. You have them. Drop off those other two games that aren't ready yet and ship me my damn games," because it's like everything else I've seen at the store. This is ridiculous. I am never doing this thing again.
That's where my rant about Ex Libris came in, because I pre-ordered Ex Libris on a Cool Stuff order, and then it took forever. Like they delayed, Renegade delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. And then we're selling it at conventions and delayed and delayed and delayed. Yeah. And I'm like, come on! I've been waiting for all this other crap because you guys. That was part of where my rage came from about that whole nonsense. And I'm like, just release the damn game. Everybody has it. Yes. You're just stalling so that way you can not give them to Cool Stuff is what it looks like, because you're selling copies everywhere else in the damn universe. How come you're not selling here?
So how is Ex Libris? I never played it.
I like it. I don't. It's good. I think that it is. I like it. I don't feel compelled to play it. It's taking up one of those spaces. I don't know if you probably have a bunch of these where you like the game, you know that it's good, and it just doesn't call out for you to play it because there's a lot more stuff you'd rather play. It's in that weird space. I don't want to get rid of it because I like it. It's really pretty, really pretty.
What did Glenn call it? The sevens?
The sevens. Yeah, oh, yeah, sure. So like the weird doldrums of games that are too good to get rid of, but not good enough to want to move to the head of your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good way of putting it. It's right there.
And we're to a point where those 7s shouldn't really be in our collection, right? They're the ones that should be on clearance at Miniature Market.
Well, we're getting there. I think, and that's just, so people keep asking when the bubble's going to burst, right? Like, is the bubble going to burst? Are we going to hit a point where there are too many games and too many publishers and too many designers and whatever? And I don't know if that's going to happen, but that's a good point. Daryl, the thing that you missed, I'm sorry, I'm not calling you out for missing things, but we were talking about how some games are the 7s, right? So they're the games that are good and you know that they're good, but they're not good enough for you to want to play them all the time.
Yep.
So they sort of hover in that space of, ooh, I can't see myself getting rid of that, but I don't have the burning urge to play it 24/7.
Yep.
And Brandon said we should be at the point where we can get rid of those. Are we gonna see a point where we'll just get exhausted?
Yeah. I think good is not good enough anymore. I think it's like we're right on that verge now. I even find myself as a designer not pursuing good ideas anymore. Like, I start to play with something and I go, yeah, this is good, but like, why does this have to exist?
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna run to the store and buy this? And if it's not like a big yes early on, I know as a designer I'm gonna have to play it a ton of times.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm not still loving it, like, why is anyone else going to? So everything needs, like, now a really good hook. Like, I would rather make less, but make sure that everything I do, it's at least swinging for something meaningful. So maybe, like, I think the market's going to turn into, like, everything's kind of like a 5 or a 9, depending on the opinion of a person. And people will become more polarized, but more like either they love it or it doesn't get a fan base, and then it just dies.
See, not to be self-aggrandizing here, but this is why I like the Cubist rating scale of buy it, play it, forget it, or burn it.
Yeah.
Because to me, there are a lot of games that forget it's to me are almost those 7s, right? Those are the games that are like, this game is fine. I don't care if I ever play it again. I don't hate it. I just don't need to play it.
Yeah, that's like the kiss of death. Like someone being like, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep. It's fine. That's the people in my groups can always tell when I wasn't thrilled by something, and they're like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, there's a lot of games on my shelf that are better than fine that I would rather be playing than this.
Yeah. It's only going to get worse.
Well, you think so, or do you think there's a bubble that's going to burst?
I'm afraid there's a lot of 7s coming into the market.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm hoping I'm wrong, but like,
you're not going to make any of them, right? Maple Games will have no 7s. Well, there you go. There's your new marketing tagline. If Jess is still here, no 7s in our list.
I mean, this is the weird thing. Like, I even like, it's funny being on the other side of the table when people are pitching you games.
Mm-hmm.
But it's funny, like a couple classic things I'm seeing all the time. Either a designer's pitching me and they're like borderline desperate, which just sucks to watch because you're like, I want to be part of making a dream come true, but I have to be picky. So they'll start pitching a game that I say, like, that is nowhere close to what kind of games we're making. And if I shoot that person down, the irony is, even if I explain, we're looking for big box, beautiful games, that are accessible and diverse and inclusive. Like, if someone pitches me like this little card game and I'm like, sorry, that's just not the kind of game we're even looking for. And they say, no, you got to see this. It's like, it's funny, but they'll even be like, well, you don't want to miss out on this being a hit. And I'm like, no, I'll happily buy this as a hit from someone else. But like, you need to realize, like, not every game is for every company and not every game needs to be made. So like, that's the one side, is the desperate side. And then the other side is like, someone has something really awesome, but you have to say, like, but it needs still a lot of work. Mm-hmm. And like, for some reason, like, a lot of people, they don't even want to do the work. And it's like, like, be patient. Like, I work on this game for a while. You'll have something great instead of working on a ton of games that are mediocre.
I always wonder if, because having briefly thought that I was going to be a game designer, And then realizing I don't have the emotional fortitude to deal with constructive criticism. Just being straight up honest, I just wasn't good at taking it. I think that from my perspective, I felt like I had done a ton of development and playtesting and whatever. And then when I would get people that would look at me and say, this needs work, I'd be like, but I've already done the work. I've already done so much work. I've already poured so much into this game. I wonder if that's what it is. And it doesn't feel like, you know, from your side of the table, I'm sure it feels like, well, yeah, but it needs more. Well, that's great. But, you know, if I already feel like I have put as much effort, maybe that's the signal, is as a designer, you should be able to look at that and go, wow, if I feel like I've already put in quote unquote too much work or enough work, then maybe this isn't worth pursuing anymore, because maybe I've lost my desire for it. And that might just be a me thing. So, or maybe it's an everybody thing, or maybe it's a way to sort of a screening process, an organic screening process behind what it takes to be a game designer and not make sevens. I don't know. Hey, Daryl and Ben in the chat wants to know what game of yours has sat in development stage longest before it was sellable.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, okay. Well, this is a funny one. It doesn't totally say that it sat forever, but I have two that just came out. City of Gears and Speakeasy Blues. They're both just trickling out and will be in stores like real soon.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them have epically long backstories. City of Gears was a game that Chris Leader did way back, and got it signed, and then got it released. And then he actually came to me when we were just chatting, I said I was a fan of it because he had it on Game Crafter. I ended up playing a Game Crafter version of it, and he was like, oh, I'm so sick of that game. It's so frustrating. And I said, well, can I tinker with it, and then we'll see what happens. I started doing so much dev that we finally were like, okay, well, this game's now changing so much. Let's just say you're the co-designer. And I was like, that's cool with me. So that was the evolution of that game. And that was still, I played with it for a couple years, and it had a couple years at least before that. The same thing with Speakeasy Blues. The funny part about that game is I co-designed that with Adrian, who did Sagrada with me, and a bunch of other titles. The very first time I ever met Adrian, he showed me that game. It used to be called Roaring Twenties or something like that. It was the very first time I met him. He had designed a game like what Speakeasy Blues is. It was a worker placement. We changed it into a dice worker placement and stuff like that. But the very first time he showed me it, it was him just learning the ropes of designing a game. And often, many of my first games, you just kill them off. It's just the learning experience. You kill your darlings. It was a game that one day he said to me, I'm completely done with this game. I am sick of it. I never want to look at it again. And it had been a few years later that he said this to me. And at that point, we were designing tons of games together. And I said, whoa, I like that game. I just forgot about it, to be honest. Can I see it? Can I work on it? And he was like, you can work on it all you want, but don't ask me questions. I don't want to see it. Just get it away from me. And so I worked on it for 6 months by myself. And the funniest part was when I went to pitch that game, I have never had a game that was more in demand by publishers.
Wow.
So that game's both of those are classic examples of sometimes all the work pays off, but the in-between was excruciating.
Well, and sometimes, I mean, it feels like these examples that you're giving are a fresh pair of eyes examples too, right? It's sometimes what you need to do is get somebody else looking at a project before you can actually make any headway on it, because somebody's too close to it, or there's just fatigue from it, right? You've just been looking at this one thing. It's really hard to get your brain out of the patterns that it's already formed with regards to a specific thing. That, it can be a challenge to just try and figure out someplace else to go with something, especially when you're hitting a bump. Yeah, I always kind of thought I maybe would be able to be a designer if I had a partner. I now no longer want to. I have just come to the point where I would rather talk about games and play games and talk about awesome people that make games than try to make my own. Also, the signal to noise is insane. How the hell do you get in at this point, right?
It's tough. It's really tough. You really have to be talented, and just something goes right.
Yep. Well, I mean, and that's part of it too, is that something has to go right. I wager there are a lot of really talented designers out there who are just beating their heads against a wall because they can't get their foot in the door and can't get the right ear at the right time for the right person, or something weird like they don't know how to pitch, right? Yep. Like the design is wonderful, but they have no idea how to pitch or write a sell sheet or
you know, there's some hidden gems out there that's, like you said, they don't know even about conventions, or they don't know what steps they need to take, and so some people just don't even see it.
Or they don't have the ability to do that. I mean, they don't have the social skills or the money or whatever it takes. I mean,
I'm reminded of the game of 49 here, right? So this was like, if I recall correctly, the story behind him is just a dude that had made a game and really didn't know anything about about the game industry at all. He's like, look, I have this game, and it, sort of caught on because it's a really solid auction game.
Yeah,
it's a weird auction game. It's an auction game that doesn't have any theme whatsoever and doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense in some way. Like there's just some parts of it that you're like, wait, what? But it's really solid. Like it's really, but this dude like just didn't know anything about the industry and just basically said, look, I made a cool game, you guys, and it worked. But he is the example that proves the rule, right? Like he's the exception that proves the rule. There we go. That's what I meant to say. He's the opposite of how it really goes, or how it usually goes anyway.
Yep.
I don't know. And that's why Wolfgang Warsch, I like that I said Wolfgang and then Warsch, because I'm apparently going to split the difference and pick half of his name to try and speak in actual German. That's why it's exciting for him, right? Because he not only came out roaring, but he came out with 3
miracle.
I know, right? How the hell does that happen?
It doesn't make any sense.
No.
Supposedly, this is my favorite part about this that I heard about. I'm going to butcher the retelling of it.
That's all right.
But
you just try to say his name, right? You're all right.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to say his name.
I set you up, buddy. You got it.
But supposedly, Rob Davio was telling me the story of meeting him. And the dude is like crazy handsome, crazy smart. All these games hit. And then the nicest human in the world. Like the person is like, he's like taking a year off of like brain surgery to like do this on the side while spending more time with his kid who is like going through some illness treatment. That like when he's telling the story, it's just like he is the greatest human to have ever lived.
So you can't even hate him.
No.
Like you can't even hate him with a clear conscience and be like, screw that guy.
Yeah, no. Supposedly he is the epitome of the perfect human.
Oh, great.
And he may have the hottest game of Spiel again this year.
Again.
Yep.
Which
Fuji's
one?
Fuji's gonna be nice. It's a co-op dice rolling.
Oh boy.
Yep. With
what's it called
for that? It's called Fuji.
Oh gosh, it's midnight. I'm gonna be a pumpkin.
What's that?
Like Fuji Flush? But
just like Fuji Flush. It's called Fuji, and I forgot who did the art for it.
It's
Emerson. Emerson Santiago did the art for it.
So. Patrick, I heard that.
Yes, I'm a pumpkin. It's midnight.
Yep.
That's all right.
Patrick.
We should probably wrap this up anyway. Because we're all old now.
Yep.
Except for maybe Daryl. Daryl, you might not be
old. I'm feeling real old.
We're all feeling old. So, all right, chat room. Thanks for hanging with us for After Dark. Sorry, it was a little less dark than usual, except for you got me monologuing. No F-bombs. That's exciting for us.
No, there was some swear words in there.
But no F-bombs specifically.
Oh. Did you want me to?
No. We're good. We're good. It's
Fuck it, I'll do it.
Thank you.
All right. So here's the deal. I want to get back. I want to start pursuing twice a month After Dark people. And the only way we're going to get to do that is if we get some more subscribers or support, because we just need to know that it's there. So weigh in, go to the Cubist, email thecubistpodcast@gmail.com if you would like to see 2 After Darks a month. At least then I'll weigh in on that. Paul, I have not forgotten about you winning your contest. I promise I'm on it. Just like I'm on all the other ones. Brandon is on one of them, or at least that's the theory. For poor Joshua.
What?
Huh? You owe Joshua a game or 2.
Oh, yeah. We'll get him.
We're the worst.
Just the mind.
We're the worst. Not just the mind. All right. Anyway, thanks everybody for hanging with us tonight. You guys are the best. Daryl, you're the bomb. I wish we got to talk more often. Good luck with Maple Games.
Thank you.
Yes.
And please deliver me a wonderful game in Dragon Boats of the Four Seas. I'm excited.
Will do.
All right.
I'm gonna go read the rule
and a
book
hat.
out there.
And I want a damn hat.
Well, we'll definitely have to hook you guys up with some hats.
All right. We'll get a hat. So, all right, y'all. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll see y'all next week. Be good.
Night.
Bye.